Hello, everyone. We are getting very close to the end of this book, which is exciting. I'm excited to sit in my sunny window today and read it to you guys. Augie was just talking about how he's going to fifth grade camp and he's a little nervous. He's never been to a sleepover before, and so he's not sure really what to expect or what it's going to look like or anything along those lines. So let's get right into it. I asked Mom to buy me a new rolling duffel bag because my old one had Star Wars stuff on it, and there was no way I was going to take that to the fifth grade nature retreat. As much as I love Star Wars, I didn't want it to be what I was known for. Everyone's known for something in middle school. Like Reed is known for being really into marine life and the oceans and things like that, and Amos is known for being a really good baseball player. And Charlotte is known for having been in a TV commercial when she was 6, and Zemena's really smart. My point is that in middle school, you kind of get known for what you're into, and you have to be careful about stuff like that. Like Max G and Max W will never live down their Dungeons and Dragons obsession. I was actually trying to ease out of the whole Star Wars thing a bit. I mean, it'll always be special to me, like it is with the doctor who put in my hearing aids. It's just not the thing I want to be known for in middle school. I'm not sure what I want to be known for, but it's not that. That's not exactly true. I do know what I'm really known for, but there's nothing I can do about that. A Star Wars duffel bag, I can do something about. Mom helped me pack the night before the big trip. We put all the clothes I was taking on my bed, and she folded everything neatly and put it inside the bag while I watched. It was a plain blue rolling duffel, by the way. No logos or artwork. What if I can't sleep at night? I asked. Take a book with you. Then if you can't sleep, you can pull out your flashlight and read for a bit until you get sleepy. I nodded. What if I have a nightmare? Your teachers will be there, sweetie, and Jack and your friends. I can bring Babu. That was my favorite stuffed animal from when I was little. A small black bear with a soft black nose. You don't really sleep with them anymore, do you? Said Mom. No, but I could keep him in my closet I keep him in my closet just in case. I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't get back to sleep, I said. I could hide him in my bag. No one would know. Then let's do that, Mom nodded, getting Babu from inside my closet. Wish they allowed cell phones, I said. I know, me too, she said, though I know you're going to have a great time, Augie. You sure you want me to pack Babu? Yeah, but way down there where no one can see him, I said. She stuck Babu deep inside the bag and then stuffed the last of my t-shirts on top of him. So many clothes for just 2 days. 3 days and 2 nights, I corrected her. Yep, she nodded, smiling. 3 days and 2 nights. She zipped up the duffel bag and picked it up. Not too heavy, try it. I picked it up. It's fine, I can do it. Hey, what happened to your Emperor Strikes Back poster? Oh, I took that down ages ago, I answered. Huh, I didn't notice that before. I'm trying, to change my image up a bit, I explained. Okay, she said, smiling and nodding like she understood. Anyway, you have to promise me you won't forget to put on the bug spray, Augie, okay? On the legs especially when you're hiking in the woods. It's just right here in the front compartment. Uh-huh. And put on your sunscreen, she said. You do not want to get a sunburn. And don't, I repeat, do not forget to take your hearing aids off if you go swimming. Would I get electrocuted? No, but you'd be in real hot water with your dad because those things cost a fortune. I put the rain poncho in the front compartment too. Same thing goes if it rains, Augie, okay? Make sure you cover the hearing aids with the hood. Aye, aye, sir, I said, saluting. She smiled and pulled me over. I can't believe how much you have grown up this year, Augie, she said. Do I look taller, I asked. Definitely, she nodded. So the shortest one in my grade. I'm not even really talking about your height, she said. Suppose I hate it there. You're gonna have a great time, Augie. I nodded. She got up and gave me a quick kiss on the forehead. Okay, so I say we go to bed now. It's only 9 o'clock, Mom. Your bus leaves at 6 a.m. You don't want to be late. Come on, chop chop, your teeth are brushed. I nodded and climbed into bed. She started to lie down next to me. You don't need to put me to sleep tonight, Mom, I said. I'll read on my own until I get sleepy. Really? She said. Okay, then good night. Have sweet dreams. You too. She turned on the little reading light beside my bed. I'll write you letters, I said as she was leaving, even though I'll probably be home before you even get them. Then we can read them together, she said. When she left my room, I took out my copy of my book and just started reading until I finally fell asleep. The next day, I woke up really early. It was still dark inside my room, and even darker outside. Though I knew it would be morning soon, I turned over on my side but didn't really feel at all sleepy. That's when I saw Daisy sitting next to my bed. I mean, I knew it wasn't Daisy, but for a second I saw a shadow that looked like her. I didn't think it was a dream then, but now looking back, I know it must have been. It didn't make me feel sad to see her at all. It just filled me up with this nice feeling. She was gone after a second, and I couldn't see her in the darkness. The room slowed, started lighting. I reached for my hearing aid headband and put it on, and now the world was really awake. I could hear the garbage trucks clunking down the street and the birds in the backyard. And down the hallway, I heard Mom's alarm beeping, and Daisy's ghost made me feel super strong inside, knowing wherever I am, she'd be there with me. I got up out of bed and went to my desk and wrote a little note to Mom. Then I went to the living room where I packed my bag. My packed bag was by the door. I opened it up and fished inside until I found what I was looking for. I took Babu back to my room and laid him on my bed and taped the little note to my mom on his chest, and then I covered him with my blanket so Mom would find him later. The note read, "Dear Mom, I won't need Babu, but if you miss me, you can cuddle with him. From Augie." The bus ride went really fast. I sat by the window and Jack was next to me in the aisle seat. Summer and Maya were in front of us. Everyone was in a good mood, kind of loud, laughing a lot. I noticed right away that Julian wasn't on our bus, even though Henry and Miles were. I figured he must be on the other bus, but then I overheard Miles tell Amos that Julian ditched the grade trip because he thought the whole nature retreat thing was kind of dorky. I got totally pumped because without dealing with Julian for 3 days in a row and 2 nights, that was a major reason why I was so nervous in the first place. So now without him there, I could really just relax and not worry about anything. We got to the nature reserve at around noon. The first thing we did was put our stuff down in the cabins. There were 3 bunk beds to every room, so me and Jack did rock, paper, scissors for the top bunk, and I won. Whew, I was excited. The other guys in our room were Reed and Tristan and Pablo and Nino. After we had lunch in the main cabin, we all went on a 2-hour guided nature hike through the woods. But these were not like the woods they have in Central Park. These were real woods. Giant trees that almost totally blocked out the sunlight, tangles of leaves and fallen trunks, owls and chirps and really loud bird calls. There was a slight fog too, like a pale blue smoke all around us. It was so cool. The nature guide pointed out everything to us and the different types of trees we were passing, the insects inside the dead logs on the trail, the signs that deer and bear were in the woods, what types of birds were whistling and where to look for them. I realized that my Lobot hearing aids actually made me hear better than most people because I usually was the first person to hear a new bird call. It started to rain as we headed back to camp, so I pulled on my rain poncho and pulled the hood up so my hearing aids wouldn't get wet, but my jeans and shoes got soaked. By the time we got to the cabin, by the time we reached our cabin, everyone had gotten soaked. It was fun though. We had a wet sock fight in the cabin. Since it rained on the first day, we spent most of the afternoon goofing off in the rec room. They had a ping pong table and old-style arcade games like Pac-Man and Missile Command that we played until about dinner time. Luckily, then, it had stopped raining, so we got to have a real cookout. The log benches around the campfire were still a little wet, but we threw our jackets over them and hung out by the fire, toasting s'mores and eating the best roasted hot dogs I have ever tasted. Mom was right about the mosquitoes, though. There were tons. But luckily, I had spritzed myself before I left the cabin. I wasn't eaten alive like some of the other kids were. I loved hanging out by the campfire after dark. I loved the way the bits of fire dust would float up and disappear in the night, and how the fire lit up people's faces. I loved the sound the fire made too, and the woods were so dark that you couldn't see anything around you, but when you looked up, you saw a billion stars in the sky. The sky doesn't look like that in North River Heights. The sky, I've seen it look like that on Montauk, though, like someone sprinkled salt on a shiny black table. I was so tired when I got back to the cabin, I didn't even need to pull out the book I read. I fell asleep almost as fast as my head hit the pillow, and maybe I dreamed about the stars. I don't know. The next day was just as great as the first. We went horseback riding in the morning, In the afternoon, we rappelled up some ginormous trees with the help of the nature guides. By the time we got back to the cabins for dinner, we were all really tired again. After dinner, they told us we had an hour to rest, and then we were going to take a 15-minute bus ride to the fairgrounds for an outdoor movie night. I didn't have a chance to write a letter to Mom and Dad and Via yet, so I wrote one telling them about the stuff we did that day and the day before. I pictured myself reading it to them out loud when I got back, since there was just no way the letter would get home before we did. We got to the fairgrounds just when the sun was starting to set, about 7:30. It was just kind of like a big open field. We were the first school to arrive, so we got to run around the field all we wanted until the teachers told us it was time to lay our sleeping bags on the ground and get good viewing seats. We unzipped our bags, and laid them down like picnic blankets in front of a big movie screen. Then we went to the row of food trucks parked at the edge of the field to load up on snacks and sodas and stuff like that. There were other concessions there too, like roasted peanuts and cotton candy. And a little further down, you could see some carnival-like games. From the food trucks, you could see the corn stalks in the back of the movie screen. They were covered about a third of the entire field. The rest of the field was completely surrounded by woods. And as the sun sank lower in the sky, the tall trees at the entrance to the woods looked blue. By the time the other school buses pulled into the parking lot, we were back at our spots in our sleeping bag right in front of the screen. The best seats in the whole field. Everyone was passing around snacks and having a good time. Me and Jack and Summer and Reed and Maya played Pictionary. We could hear the other schools arriving and the loud laughing and talking of kids coming out on the field from both sides. The sky was pretty light outside still, and the sun hadn't gone completely down, but there were no shadows. We had trouble finally seeing our Pictionary cards when it got dark enough. Just then, without any announcement, all the lights on the end of the field went on at once. They were like bright stadium lights. I thought that was like a scene of Close Encounters with the alien ships landing. Everyone in the field started applauding and cheering. And something great was just about to happen. An announcement came over the huge speaker next to the stadium lights. Welcome everyone to the 23rd annual Big Movie Night at the Broarwood Nature Retreat. He welcomed all the schools and we gave loud cheers as soon as our school was called. So as we prepare for the movie, he said, we do ask that you take a few moments to listen to this important announcement. As you know, this place is dedicated to preserving our natural resources and the environment. So we ask you leave no litter behind. Clean up after yourselves. Be kind to nature and it'll be kind to you. And we ask you that you keep that in mind as you walk around the grounds. Don't venture beyond the orange cones at the edge of the fairgrounds. Do not go into the cornfields or the woods, and please keep the free roaming to a minimum. Even if you don't feel like watching the movie, your fellow students may feel otherwise, so please be courteous. No talking, no playing music, no running around. The restrooms are on the other side of the concession stands. After the movie, it'll be quiet. It'll be quite dark. So we ask all of you to stay with your schools as you make your way to the buses. Teachers, there's usually one last party on Big Movie Night, so don't let it happen to you. Tonight's movie will be The Sound of Music. The movie started playing right away. The stadium lights dimmed. Maria the nun was standing at the top of the mountain twirling around. It had gotten really chilly all of a sudden, so I put on my yellow Montauk hoodie and adjusted the volume on my hearing aids. I leaned back against my backpack and started watching. Somewhere around the boring part where the guy named Rolf and the oldest daughter are singing, "You are 16, going on 17, Jack nudged me. "Dude, I've got to pee," he said. We both looked up, kind of hopscotched over the kids who were sitting or lying down on their sleeping bags. Summer waved as we passed, and I waved back. There were a lot of kids from the school, other schools walking around by the food trucks playing the carnival games, or just hanging out. Of course, there was a huge line. Jack finally said, "Okay, let's just go to the forest." I tried to get him to just wait, but he headed out to the row of the trees at the edge of the field, which was past the orange cones that we were specifically told not to go past. And of course I followed him. And of course we didn't have our flashlights because we forgot to bring them. It was so dark that we literally couldn't see 10 steps ahead of us. Luckily, the movie gave off some light, so when we saw flashlights coming towards us out of the woods, we knew immediately it was Henry, Miles, and Amos. I guess they hadn't wanted to wait in line either. Miles and Henry were still not talking to Jack, but Amos had let go of the war a while ago, and he nodded hello to us as we passed by. "Be careful the bears," shouted Henry, and he and Miles laughed as they walked off. Amos shook his head at us like, "Don't pay attention to them." And Jack and I walked a little farther until we were just inside the woods. The woods were loud with strange sounds and chirps, croaks like walls of noise coming out of the trees. Then we started hearing loud snaps not far from us, like cap gun pops. They definitely weren't insect noises. And far away we could hear the music from the movie. "Okay, I'm good," said Jack. "Well, now I have to pee," I said. So as I went off to find a tree, I suddenly heard Jack say, "Do you smell that? It smells like firecrackers," he said, coming over. "Oh yeah, that's what it is," I said. "Weird. Okay, let's go." We headed back the way we came in the direction of the giant screen. That's when we walked straight into a group of kids we didn't know. They'd just come out of the woods doing stuff I'm sure they didn't want their teachers to know about, because I could smell the fireworks and I could smell cigarettes. They pointed flashlights at us. There were 6 of them, 4 boys and 2 girls. They looked like they might be in the 7th grade. "What school are you from?" one of the boys asked. "Beecher Prep," Jack started to answer, but then all of a sudden one of the girls started screaming. "Oh my God," she shrieked, and she started holding her hands over her eyes. I figured there must be a huge bug. "No way," one of the boys cried. "Oh, no freaking way, man." All of them started laughing and half covering their eyes, now pushing each other and cursing loudly. "What is that?" said a kid who was pointing the flashlight at us, and it was only then that I realized they were talking and screaming about me. "Let's get out of here," Jack said to me quietly, and he pulled me by the sweatshirt sleeve and started to walk away from them. Wait, yelled the guy with the flashlight, cutting us off. He pointed to the flashlight right in my face again. "Oh, man. What happened to your face?" "Stop it, Eddie," said one of the girls. "I didn't know we were watching Lord of the Rings tonight. Look, it's Gollum." All his friends started laughing. Again, we tried to walk away, and again the kid named Eddie cut us off. He was at least a head taller than Jack, who was about a head taller than me, so the guy looked huge to me. "No, man, it's aliens," said the other kids. No, man, it's an orc," laughed Eddie, pointing the flashlight in my face again. This time he was right in front of us. "Leave him alone, okay?" said Jack, pushing the hand holding the flashlight away. "Make me," said Eddie, pointing the flashlight in Jack's face. "What's your problem?" said Jack. "Your friend here is my problem." "Jack, let's just go," I said, pulling him by the arm. "Oh man, it talks," screamed Eddie, shining the flashlight in my face again. Then one of the other guys threw a firecracker at our feet. Jack tried to push past Eddie, but Eddie shoved his hands into Jack's shoulder and pushed him hard, which made Jack fall backward. "Eddie!" screamed one of the girls. "Look," I said, stepping in front of Jack and holding my hands up in the air like a traffic cop. "We're a lot smaller than you guys, okay?" "Are you talking to me, Freddy Krueger? I don't think you want to mess with me, you ugly freak," said Eddie. And this was the point where I knew I should run away as fast as I could, but Jack was still on the ground and I wasn't about to leave him. "Yo, dude," said a new voice behind us. "What's up, man?" Eddie spun around and pointed his flashlight towards the voice, and for a second I couldn't believe who it was. "Leave him alone, dude," said Amos, with Miles and Henry right behind him. "Says who?" one of the guys with Eddie said. "Just leave them alone, okay?" Amos repeated calmly. "Are you a freak too?" said Eddie. "They're all a bunch of freaks," said one of his friends. Amos didn't answer them, but looked at us. "Come on, guys, let's go. Mr. Tushman's waiting for us." I knew that was a lie, but I helped Jack it up, and we started walking over to Amos. Then out of the blue, the Eddie guy grabbed my hood as I passed him, yanking it really hard, so I was pulled backward and fell flat on my back. It was a hard fall, and I hurt my elbow pretty bad on a rock. I couldn't really see what happened afterwards, except that Amos rammed the guy next to Eddie like a monster truck, and they both fell down on the ground next to me. Everything got really crazy after that. Someone pulled me up by my sleeve and yelled, "Run!" Someone else screamed, "Get him!" at the same time, and for a few seconds, I actually had people pulling the sleeves of my sweatshirt in opposite directions. I heard them both cursing until my sweatshirt ripped, and the first guy yanked me by the arm and started pulling me behind him as we ran, which I did as fast as I could, and I could hear footsteps just behind us, chasing us, and voices shouting and girls screaming. But it was dark, and I didn't know whose voices they were, only that everyone and everything felt like it was underwater, and we were running like crazy, and it was pitch black. And whenever I started to slow down, the guy pulling me by the arm would say, "Don't stop." Finally, after what seemed like forever of running, someone yelled, "I think we lost them." "Amos?" "I'm right here," said Amos, a voice a few feet behind us. "We can stop," Miles yelled from further up. "Jack," I yelled. "Whoa," said Jack, "I'm here." "I can't see a thing." "Are you sure we lost them?" Henry asked, letting go of my arm. That's when I realized he had been the one pulling me as we ran. "Yeah, let's listen." We all got super quiet and listened, but couldn't hear anything. "We lost him," said Henry. "Whoa, that was intense. What happened to the flashlight?" "Oh, I dropped it." "How did you guys know?" said Jack. "We saw them before. They looked like jerks." "You just rammed into them," I said to Amos. "I know, right?" He didn't even see it coming. He was like, "Are you a freak too?" And I was like, "Bam," said Jack. "Bam," said Amos, throwing a fake punch in the air. But after I tackled him, I was like, "Run, Amos, you schmuck. He's 10 times bigger than you." That's when I got up and started running as fast as I can. We all started laughing. "I just grabbed Augie and ran," said Henry. "I didn't even know it was you pulling me," I answered. "That was crazy," said Amos. "Totally." "Your lip is bleeding, man." "I got in a couple good punches," answered Amos, wiping his lip. "I think they were 7th graders. They were huge." "Losers!" Henry shouted really loud, but we all shushed him right away. We listened for a second to make sure no one had heard him. "Where the heck are we?" said Amos. "I can't even see the screen." "I think we're in the cornfields," answered Henry. "Duh, we're in the cornfields," said Miles, pushing a corn stalk at him. "Okay, I know exactly where we are," said Amos. "We have to go back in the direction. They'll take us all the other side of the field." "Yo, guys, hold on," said Jack, hand high in the air. "That was really cool of you guys to come back for us. Really cool. Thanks." "No problem," answered Amos, high-fiving Jack, and then Miles and Henry high-fived him too. "Yeah, thanks, you guys," I said, holding my palm up like Jack just had, and I wasn't sure if they were going to high-five me. Amos looked at me and nodded. "It was cool how you stood your ground back there, man," he said, high-fiving me. "Yeah, Augie. You were like, we're littler than you guys." I didn't know what to say. I laughed. "Very cool." "Sorry I ripped your sweatshirt, though." I looked down and my sweatshirt was completely torn down the middle. One sleeve was ripped off and the other was stretched out so bad it was hanging below my knees. "Hey, your elbow's bleeding," said Jack. Yeah," I shrugged. It was starting to hurt a lot. "You okay?" said Jack, seeing my face. I nodded, and suddenly I felt like crying, and I was really trying hard not to do that. "Wait, your hearing aids are gone," said Jack. "What?" "The hearing aid band was definitely gone. That's why I felt like I was underwater." "Oh no," I said, and that's when I couldn't hold it anymore. Everything had just happened to me kind of hit me, and I couldn't help it. I started to cry, like big crying, what Mom would call the waterworks. I was so embarrassed I hid my face in my arms, but I couldn't stop the tears from coming. The guys were really nice, though. They patted me on the back. "You're okay, man. It's okay," they said. "You're one brave guy, you know that," said Amos, putting his arm around my shoulders. And when I kept on crying, he put both of his arms around me, like my dad would usually do, and let me cry.